Okay, welcome back. Things are looking a little, hopefully a little better as compared to the bulk of last week as we begin another week. SGX is indicating a flat, absolutely flat start, 22 odd points lower. So let's get this going with some commentary on markets. Prakash Diwan is joining us now. Prakash, good to have you with us here. Thank you very much for your time. I hope your arm is healing well and you're doing better. Uh, I just wanted a quick word, Prakash, on the numbers from banks, right? We got
Yeah,
SBI and we got Bank of Baroda on Friday. Bank of Baroda, by the way, has got an upgrade from CLSA. I think came out over the weekend.
yeah,
What does it mean for stocks in the PSU bank space from here out?
yeah. Good morning, Prashant. So, yeah, I think very clearly the bank numbers for this quarter will start reinforcing the fact that the change that we saw in the trajectory for most of these banks in terms of growth post that cleanup with a long 3-4 years of NPA cycle cleanup, that is started getting into a little bit of a next phase of growth, which is typically which should be it sounds a bit too outlandish, but it's hyper growth. So if the economy is going to be the way what the budget has indicated, and if GDP estimates are to be attained, most of these frontline banks, especially the PSUs, will be able to participate in credit growth, which is phenomenal. So and if they continue to be in the mid-teens, which these numbers tell you that they're inching towards, the ROAs will follow. And if the ROAs continue to be at a sustained levels for such large balance sheets like the types of SBI and even BOB now, I think you'll probably start seeing a little bit of a re-rating for these banks in terms of price to book multiples. The price to book multiples for most of these banks had one round of re-rating. These numbers tell you that if there is sustenance on some of these metrics, there is no reason why the price to book cannot go up 20-25% from here. So I'm just talking about the multiple change. So the earnings have told you that there is improvement in EPS, there is improvement in book value. The balance sheets are much stronger, probably the healthiest ever we've seen in the last 8-10 years. So it is very clear that the bank PSU lot is the PSU bank lot is something that you have to have participation in. But again, I'm repeating, you need to participate through a more holistic or a broad-based basket approach. Take an ETF if that works for you. If you're okay with it, comes at low cost, is much more simpler. Don't have to keep guessing which is the next bank which is going to do well. But I think you should. These numbers tell you that there is definitely secular growth that's coming at least for the next 4 quarters.
On ITC, Prakash, good morning, by the way, and hope you get well soon. I can see that little, thing going on there on your arm.
Yeah.
I hope you get well soon. You've got ITC, which has given you good numbers this time, but a lot of it perhaps in the price, right? I mean, in the last 12 months, the stock is up over 65%. You think most of the money has been made, or is there more upside?
Good morning, Sonia. Thank you. Yes, you can see the sling partly, I'm sure.
Yeah.
ITC is actually played catch up on what it deserves to from all those other businesses that have done well. I don't think everything is yet priced in. I mean, I'm a big fan of this company, of this business for the sheer size that it kind of straddles. Cigarette volumes was a bit of a concern for the last many quarters. And again, those quarters will resurface at some point in time when the government starts dipping into the potential tax kitty for cigarettes. But remember, the December quarter typically also has a bit of backfilling. So that's where the volume growth is there. But their new introductions are towards more premium products. And I did catch a bit of your conversation with Manglam when you're pulling his leg from being a non-smoker. He knows so much about those double bursts. But then that's exactly the way the younger generation is going. I mean, people are looking at far more superior products. They're willing to pay higher, and that's premiumization in the cigarette space as well, right? So ITC actually benefits from that because they tend to be in a very profitable niche which nobody else has been able to challenge. But even the Godfrey Phillips numbers were pretty encouraging in that sense from a volume growth perspective. So that's on the cigarette business. But you've not factored in the kind of growth they've made, the strides they've made in their hotels business, their paper business, and of course, a lot of stuff that's happening below the line in terms of the FMCG product mix. All of that is yet to come in. So I'm not saying that they've already done growth and the price doesn't reflect that. The price does reflect a lot of promise of growth. So the PEG ratio for ITC, to be honest, Sonia, is what attracts me. And that is something which could probably re-rate the stock going forward. And you continue to get a very good dividend yield as well, at least about 4-5%, given the cash that it generates. So you can't let it down. I mean, it won't let you down, and you can't kind of not have it in the portfolio for sure.
Okay, all right.
And as a matter of disclosure, I do have.
Okay, Prakash, thanks for that. Well, I request you to hold on, Prakash, and maybe you could listen to this conversation we're going to have